I take immense pride in saying that I have been a Mardani all along. I've slapped a lot of people, not one. I'm so good at arguing that probably I would have been a good lawyer. I've always done D-glam roles. Going D-glam or going without makeup on screen doesn't really deter me or doesn't bother me. Nobody put a gun on his head to ask him to marry me. He's quite responsible enough to understand what comes with marrying an actor. He's trying to deal with it in a very mature way. I'm not his actress, I'm his wife.
But you're also an actress.
Yes, but I would have him direct all the other lovely actresses that are there in the country. Madhurita, I would like to say that you are a Mardani in your own right.
Yes.
So keep the flag flying high.
Hi Rani, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure talking to you again.
Thank you, Madhurita.
Okay, first time we're seeing you in such an avatar, a cop avatar, so much of action. Tell us what made you want to do this film?
When the story came to me, when the script came to me, I reacted like a girl.
Okay.
Because my reaction was not of the Rani Mukerji, the actor. It was me more as a woman, as a girl. And I instantly got sucked in because I said, oh my God, this is one role which is about this brave cop who's so empowering. And I looked at Shivaji Roy as a role model. Because what she's doing is something that we all girls want to do. And the very loud and clear message in the film about telling all the girls and all the women around that please bring out the Mardani in you, it's time.
Tell me about the preparation that went into the role from the physical level and mental level. Because this is not a film where action is about blowing up cars in the air. Right. So I believe you trained in some martial art form and all
Krav
of that, right?
Maga. Actually, I learned Krav Maga, which is an Israeli self-defense martial arts format. And the whole theory there is that however your opponent is, whether he's taller than you, whether he's tougher than you, whether he's probably 3 times your size, there is a way of tackling that.
Okay.
And you can actually tackle that and get out of a situation, which I think is very relevant for today. Because, I personally feel with the kind of things that are happening around us, with the kind of incidents that we hear, which are so shocking and disgusting, and you are so angered with it. I think all of us are angered, but what do we do? The only thing we can do is actually find a solution. Rather than sitting at home and doing debates, rather than sitting on television shows and doing debates on who's superior, who's not superior, what the law should do, what the law should not do, how men should look at women and how men should not look at women, I think that time is gone. Now the time is to take this in our hands and take action. And how are we going to empower ourselves? How are we women going to actually empower ourselves? The only way of doing that is to learn self-defense. There'll be no guy who'll have the guts or the galls to actually, look at her in a wrong way. And that's when I feel in 20 years, India will truly be shining. Because in every household, there will be a girl who will be able to take care of herself. It is the guys, the brothers who will tie Rakhi onto their sisters and say that you need to protect us. And that's what needs to happen.
Let's about your interaction with the female cops. Tell us about the stories they told you.
The thing is that today when you talk of crime branch, you hardly know how crime branch functions because they are always undercover. Their crime branch offices are also undercover. You will never see a crime branch office like how we have a police stations, like the local police stations. Of course, I got special permission, and thanks to Mr. Himanshu Roy, who was the then Joint Commissioner of Crime Branch. He in fact felicitated this. He in fact helped us do a research, and when he got to know that this is a story of a female officer, he got so happy and excited, and he said that, oh my God, you have no idea how strong our brave officers are. They are in fact not only as good as the male cops, but they're probably better. And he introduced me to all the female cops who are there in crime branch. There was one such unit 8, which actually helped me in my research to the extent that they went through mock drills with me, where they taught me how interrogation happens, how they nab gangsters, how they pick up guys on the road, criminals from the road. And it's just a different experience. It's a whole world because you suddenly feel that our world is about what are we dressing like every day, what are our films, Friday ko kaun si film release ho rahi hai, kaun kitna paisa kama raha hai, who's doing what, who's wearing the same shoes, who's doing the same hairstyle, who's wearing the same jacket. Lives are only going through that. And suddenly you go to the crime branch office and you see the map of Mumbai.
reality
in
hits you,
their
right?
office, and they tell you that, you know, यहाँ पे ये crime हो रहा है, अच्छा यहाँ पे ये gangster रहता है, अच्छा ये जो आपका entry है, and they have that knowledge, and you suddenly see a different Mumbai, and you're like, oh my God, this is reality, and it shocks you, and you're like, so we sleep in the night every day safely because they are protecting
Doing something
us,
right, yeah,
and they
yeah,
are protecting
yeah.
us. And probably the day something goes wrong, we suddenly feel, what are the police doing in our country?
Yeah.
And we are very quick to say that, and we are very quick to be
complain
judgmental.
about them, absolutely,
But they don't think of the days that we're sleeping peacefully. It's because of them.
But Rani, we've seen you in a wide variety of roles over so many years. You've been super glamorous on screen. But you know, you're doing a film where you're fairly de-glam, and most actresses would almost be nervous about it and they will not do it. How did you feel about that?
See, I've always done de-glam roles. Whether it was a Heyram, which was right in the beginning of my career,
Yeah.
to a Yuva, to a Black.
Oh, black actor.
So I've done a lot of films, you know, without makeup, Satya, you know, so going de-glam or going without makeup on screen doesn't really even deter me or doesn't, you know, bother me. Because that's something that I've done a lot. Talash, I think there are numerous films of mine which I've actually done without makeup and with very less makeup.
Right.
So, so I think there is a space for those kind of films, and when you do those films where you are trying to project reality and a very real portrayal, you can't have anything which is, you know, a little artificial or a little over the top. Like this film, Mardani, it demanded me to be real. It demanded me for, because it's a very real portrayal and it's a film which is inspired by true events. So it's basically what you see on screen is how 2014 cops are, you know, today.
As is, yeah.
As is, the way they are, the way they interact with each other, exactly that. Wow. You know, the way their office looks, the way the interrogation room looks, it's absolutely taken from real life instance. So, so it was very imperative for me to play the cop, because the first thing when I met the cops and I saw them, they don't have anything on them.
Absolutely, yeah.
They will probably have just a small earring, or they'll have just a chain, or they'll have just a watch, but nothing more than that.
I was also reading a very interesting comment you made, saying that there's nothing like women-centric films, which was very, very interesting. Tell me about that.
See, what I totally believe is that from the time films have been probably made or films have come, there have always been films where the female has been the protagonist.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whether you take the romantic films, you take films right from the beginning of the generation of, you know, movies. Every generation has had very strong women characters on screen where the female is the protagonist.
Right.
Even when there have been heroes as well or male protagonists, like in love stories, you'll always have them with equal parts.
Absolutely.
Or probably the girl would probably have a stronger part.
Romance.
Yeah, because she's the stronger part. But those films are always labeled as romance, comedy, or drama, or something to that extent, horror. But suddenly when there's a female protagonist who's probably stronger role and where you have the male parts which are slightly weaker, they're suddenly called women-centric. Which is really sad, because in no other profession do we have this. Like, you know, when you have a lady pilot flying a plane, she doesn't fly the plane like this because she's a female.
Absolutely.
She flies the plane exactly the way a male pilot would. So every profession has a male and female counterpart, but the job is the same. So an actor acts, a pilot flies, a journalist writes. So I would not give it a gender, apart from the fact that we look different and we look much better than the men.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
But yeah, I think, and it's now in the hands of all the journos to actually, especially the female ones, to change that trend.
Absolutely.
And to start calling Mardani a thriller rather than a woman-centric film.
Yeah. Tell me, when you're working on a film like that, do you ever feel the pressure, like I'm leading the film, like just what you were saying? Or you just treat it like any other role?
I think every film is a pressure on the entire team, because today films are made as a teamwork. Like no one person can take credit for the success or the failure. So when you are working in a film where the entire team has taken onus and has taken responsibility of the film's success or failure, you feel as much pressure as any other member of the team. And of course today, because the way times are moving and it's become so competitive, where people are not giving you a second chance. So if you have a failure, so you're just damned. And if you have a success, they're like, you know, following you like anything. So yes, success has become important, but success, I wouldn't say needs to be attributed to just the box office, figures.
Absolutely.
A film can be successful with the kind of noise it makes as well.
And people remember it for the story
And,
you've said.
yeah, and remember it and revere it. So both the things in this film is important reward in terms of the monetary reward as well as the revered feel that comes with a movie, that you need to revere a film.
Right.
So both the things are very, very important.
But have you ever been bogged down by numbers or your stardom status, any of that in so many years?
See, I would be lying to say that I wouldn't have, or I'm not,
Yeah.
because I think when you are in a profession like movies, numbers are important because numbers just tells you how many people have been aware of your film and how many people have
The
watched your
reach,
film.
yeah.
So the reach is very important. So as much the reach is, it's the better for your film, it's the better for your work, because the more and more people it reaches to, the more and more people get aware of your work and of the hard work you've put in a film. So yes, the success of the film is of course important, but it's important for me in the audience's hearts and minds. That's very, very important.
You also said that you've been a Mardani from start. Tell us about that. Were you always like this?
I was always like this, and I take immense pride in saying that I have been a Mardani all along.
Yeah. In what way?
I think spirit-wise, I think I've never taken anything quietly. If I have been if I've been in a situation where I've felt that there has been something not nice or something which is kind of trying to put my self-respect in a little problem, I've always spoken, I've always stood up and I've always slapped.
Really?
Yes.
You slapped a man ever?
I've slapped a lot of people, not one.
Yeah?
Lots.
Wow.
Lots.
And you also said that if you weren't an actress, you would have been a lawyer because you're always in an argument.
Yes, I've actually, that's what my family people say, that I'm so good at arguing that probably I would have been a good lawyer.
So who wins the arguments at home? When you're fighting, who wins the arguments at home?
Always me.
It's always you, you're the boss.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that, absolutely. I also heard about you saying that you don't want to be directed by Aditya Chopra.
Yeah.
Now, actors who would die for that, why wouldn't you?
Because I'm not his actress, I'm his wife.
But you're also an actress.
Yes, but I think I would have him direct all the other lovely actresses that are there in the country.
Yeah.
And I would give him a break from that.
Has life changed after marriage, Rani? How do you feel different?
I think different only in a way because I'm married in my 30s. So obviously I had been very comfortable in my home with my parents, and all the responsibility was of my parents looking after the house, and they used to look after me. And now it's the other way around. So yeah, it's different, and I've shifted my home. Now I'm living with my husband. So yes, the physical shift is there. Of course, the responsibility of running the house also has come along. And it's very interesting, and I keep remembering my mother.
Really?
Mother's words now.
Keep it
that,
in your head.
when you have your house, you'll know and you'll understand, and also it's pretty nice.
But considering you and Aditya have a common passion of movies, is the conversation at home a lot about movies, Bollywood, or it's something else?
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix, because you can't take out the movie experience from us, and because we are in the movies, of course, movies are discussion.
Part of your life,
Yes, and it's part of our life, and I wouldn't lie to say that, we keep that in the office and come. So, so that's not true. But that's not the only thing that we discuss, because we have other things to discuss as well.
How is he dealing with all the media attention?
He has no choice.
Is he like annoyed with it completely?
No, I don't think he's annoyed, because I don't think he has a choice, and nobody put a gun on his head to ask him to marry me. So that's his own decision, and he's quite responsible enough to understand what comes with marrying an actor.
Absolutely.
So yeah, he's trying to deal with it in a very mature way.
Do you want to direct a film someday?
I wouldn't say no, because you will take this interview and then you'll show it to me when I do become a director ever in my life.
You told me I wouldn't.
See, you told me I wouldn't, so I wouldn't say never. But I don't think that's on my agenda right now. I think I'm enjoying thoroughly being an actor, because today actors like me, I think, and there are a lot of actors like me today who are not involved in a project just as an actor only. Like, there are so many aspects in making a film that you get involved with. And I'm enjoying that, process right now. And let's see what happens in the future, but I'm not saying no.
Tell us why should someone watch Mardani?
I think if you truly are a strong and brave person, regardless of your gender, you should come and watch Mardani.
Who has been your strongest woman force in your life?
I think my mom.
Yeah.
I think she's been a go-getter. She's a Mardani herself, and I've seen that spirit in her.
Yeah.
And I think it runs in the genes. I think my nani and my mum, and I think that whole
Family of strong women?
Yes, family of strong women. So yeah, we women have a lot of say.
You're the final boss.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's to more woman power, Rani. Thank you so much for talking to me.
And Madhurita, I would like to say that you are a Mardani in your own right.
Yes.
So keep the flag
Absolutely
flying high.
Thank you so much, Rani. Pleasure.